Patriot head coach Bill Belichick said a lot of this week centered on putting the San Francisco loss behind them and moving forward. And first-year head coach Mike Mularkey and his Jaguars have lost 3 straight, 10 of their last 11. He had to make 9 roster moves just this week, 88 for the season, as much as any team in the entire NFL. In the flip of the coin, it was won by New England. They have deferred, so Jacksonville will be receiving, meaning that Stephen Gostkowski will be kicking off for the New England Patriots. And deep back will be Richard Murphy, who is a rookie free agent last year and now in his first full season out of LSU. Here we go, the Pats and the Jaguars from Jacksonville. And Toasted, who is a backup running back, will bring it out and climb his way out near the 22 on a 22-yard return. Taking us to that Jacksonville offense, led by quarterback Chad Henne. His 52% completion mark, the lowest among starting quarterbacks in the NFL.
Chad Henne said that when you play against the New England Patriots defense, you have to be very resilient, capitalize on the opportunities that he's going to be given today. Remember, this Patriots defense has allowed the most explosive pass plays of any team in the NFL.
From the 22, first down and 10. A lot of changes defensively for the Patriots. We'll get to that in just a second. Play action by Henne. And deep, and he's got Justin Blackmon. Brought down by McCourty. The catch and run of 18 yards. He is the rookie from Oklahoma State and a very much decorated college receiver.
No surprise, Jacksonville's going to come out throwing the football. Devin McCourty starting at cornerback today, not at safety, because Aqib Talib battling a hip injury, and now Jaguars going with the no-huddle offense.
Talib has been so important for that secondary for the New England Patriots, but yeah, a lot of maneuvering parts now for New England. First down and 10. And he taking the place of the injured Blaine Gabbert, who hurt his arm earlier in the season. Montel Owens will zigzag his way and brought down on the play by Dante Hightower on a gain of 3. Now on that line, Guy Wimper starting at the right tackle. They have allowed 42 sacks. Monroe, the best of that group. And receiver Cecil Shorts just 75 yards away from 1,000 this season, which would be a real accomplishment for a team that has only won twice in 14 games. It is second down and 7 in the game-opening drive for Jacksonville.
Ivy, 2 Eagle, Ivy, 2 Raptor. Ivy, 2 Raptor.
Hesitation, but the tight end's going to gather that, and that's Mercedes Lewis, and brought down once again by Hightower on a gain of 4 to the 47-yard line. New England's front 7, the strength of this Patriot D. Vince Wilfork, of course, anchors the defensive line. Now moving to linebacker is Rob Ninkovich, taking the place of the injured and out Brandon Spikes. And in the secondary, all kinds of changes. Arrington comes in for Talib. There goes McCourty. Now he'll leave safety. He'll go to cornerback. Gregory is in there, of course, and Chung is in McCourty's place in the safety level. It's third down and 3. Chung actually saw about 19, 20 snaps last week against San Francisco, and they saw him play fairly well against the Niners. Underneath, this is Shorts. He's got the first down, running by Hightower and out of bounds with a catch and run on the play of 10. Mark him at the 43-yard line of New England and a Jacksonville first down.
Well, everyone in the stadium knows that Henne is going to try to get the ball to Cecil Shorts. We talked about him in the open. His ability to create yards after the catch comes at a premium. He's a big-time playmaker for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
No hiddle may have been a nice little wrinkle added by Mike Mularkey this week.
And it gives Henne a chance to survey the defense and pick the matchup he wants. He's taking his time.
The play clock, as you can see, already down to 5. First down and 10. And here comes Owens in the secondary and down 2 with a Chung tackle at about the 29-yard line on a burst of 14 yards and another first down for Jacksonville.
Take a look at this right side here. You're going to see it. Look, they block out and they're able to turn out here. They get to the second level, and just everyone is getting good blocks on this Patriots defense. This is the way this Patriots defense struggled in the first half against the 49ers 1 week ago.
Marquise Cole is playing as the 5th defensive back here. Here's a first and 10 underneath Owens. And brought down by Kyle Arrington It is a gain of 12 and a catch and run to the 17 of the New England Patriots.
You just saw the graphic which shows this Jacksonville Jaguar offense have gone 25 consecutive games without scoring a touchdown on the opening drive. That's the longest streak in the National Football League. But right now, against the Patriots defense that a lot of people thought would have improved so deep into the month of December, right now allowing this Jaguar offense to go right down the field.
First down and 10. Drive started back at the 22. Big play, a pass of 18 to Blackman. Henny once again underneath. And again, he finds a tight end with a nice catch. The former Pro Bowler out of UCLA. That's Mercedes Lewis down to about the 8. That's a pickup of 9. And shy of a first down, Solomon, by about a yard.
Yeah, and boy, Mike Mularkey's offense taking advantage of some maneuvering that you talked about on this Patriots defense. Remember, Brandon Spikes out at the middle linebacker position. You just saw Rob Ninkovich matched up against the receiver in space. McCourty starting at cornerback. Kyle Arrington, normally not a starter, also starting today in place of Dinner.
Still playing in the nickel is the defense of New England. Second down and 1. Murphy to about the 3 and a first down, hit by Marquise Cole. Gain of 5, first and goal on the opening drive of the game for Jacksonville.
Boy, they've got some nice blocking scheme going on up front for this Jacksonville Jaguar football team. Mike Mularkey, he's an excellent play caller. You can see 0 touchdowns in their last 6 red zone possessions. Last week, they were 0 for 4 down inside the red zone against the Miami Dolphins. The one thing this team has done, they can move the ball, but they've struggled down inside the red zone. If they can score here early against the Patriots, boy, they're getting off to a good start, and I think it's going to do a lot for their confidence.
Cole taken out. Trevor Scott put on that line. So that's the change defensively for the Pats. First and goal at the 3. That's caught for a touchdown in the back of the end zone as McCourty was trying to stay with Justin Blackman. A 3-yard touchdown pass, and just like that, the 2-12 Jaguars, one of the worst offenses in the NFL, were right into the teeth of New England's D.
All right, Blackman comes in as their leading receiver. He's a rookie working to the right. Look, he beats Devin McCourty badly. He was wide open, Kevin. The coverage wasn't even close on his 4th touchdown reception. Just an excellent drive by the Jacksonville Jaguars. 9 plays, they go 78 yards, mixing in run and pass.
And he was a perfect 6 of 6 on that drive, with Josh Scobie now going to try for the extra point. The holder is the punter, Anger, and 7-0, Jacksonville on top. They had a pass of 18 to Blackman. Shorts caught a pass for a 10-yard catch and run. Owens had a run of 14. They find Blackman in the back of the end zone for 6. Nikoff winner at Oklahoma State. He was the number 5 overall pick, the number 1 wide receiver, Blackman. Nice drive led by Henny, 6 of 6. But what about the secondary changes of the Patriots trying to feel their way through that first drive?
Well, with Aqib Talib out, he's not starting today. That takes their best cornerback off the field. You move Devin McCourty from the free safety position to corner. He, in my mind, with his range and his instincts, now you take their second best player in the defense and move him out of position.
Here's Slater. He's going to return the kickoff, and that McCourty is the norm, and Slater brings it up. It's a 20-yard return, which will open the door for 35-year-old Tom Brady. When we come back to Northern Florida, 9:29 in the first. St. John's River here in Jacksonville. Patriots won a Super Bowl here about 8 years ago. First and 10. Little play action by Tom. Incomplete, and they go outside. Flag is down. They were aiming on the play for Brandon Lloyd, who's been red hot for this ball club over the last couple games. A combined 17 receptions as Jeff Triplett and his crew will officiate today.
Pass interference. Defense number 21. Ball will be placed in the spot of the foul. First down.
That's Derek Cox. So here's Tom Brady. Missed his first practice of the season this past week. Wednesday, shoulder rest was the reason given. He was back Thursday. He threw for a career 65 times against San Francisco.
And you may not think it's a big deal, but Tom Brady will be the first to tell you that practice time is very important when you talk about the precision of the passing game, the ability to work the tempo, something I think we expect to see today.
Stephen Ridley in the backfield. He gets a call here on first down, and he's brought down in the secondary by DeJuan Landry after a gain of 3 up to the 33-yard line. All 5 starters in their 3rd consecutive game together on the offensive line. First time that's happened all season. Mankins leading the way right there. Rob Gronkowski still out, although he's been practicing for about 10 days. Wide receiver Wes Welker had 100 receptions, an NFL record 5th consecutive season. Terrific. Second down and 7. Coleman with the block at the right tackle in time for Brady, who's got Ridley, and it's bobbled and intercepted on the deflection. Przinski gets the ball. Turnover. And the guy that's been having some fumbling issues, Ridley, on runs, can't reel this bobbled attempt from Brady to him down the sideline. Przinski gets it. Jags have it. 8:49 in the first.
As we return to Everbank Field here in Jacksonville, here's Stephen Ridley. He's going to come out of the backfield, and then here's Russell Allen in coverage. Tom Brady's going to give Ridley an opportunity to come down with the ball. He doesn't fight to get back to it, but good coverage by Allen. Then Chris Przinski, you'll see the safety. He'll come in, get the tip ball, and intercept Tom Brady. It's Brady's first interception now against these Jacksonville Jaguars. Amazing.
Patriots will open up in the nickel. Cole will be the 5th defensive back from the 47 of Jacksonville. First down and 10 for Chad Henne, and the Jacksonville O leading on a 3-yard touchdown pass. And a quick flag and a quick toss on the slant, and they go here to Shorts. It was brought down by Cole, gain of 8, but the flag was thrown back at about the 44. The gain was to the 45 of New England on that first down throw.
Offside. Defense number 75. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, second down.
Wilfork.
Mike Mularkey understands they have a golden opportunity to jump out on top of this Patriots team. 14-0 after getting the turnover. They've struggled to turn these turnovers into points for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Remember now, New England number 1 by a mile in terms of the giveaway takeaway in the NFL, plus 22 even after last week. Second down and 2. Ronzel Owens hit by Hightower with his 3rd tackle of the game. Hightower had a good game against San Francisco. That's a gain of 5, and they'll put him inside the 41. A first down for Jacksonville.
On the last 6 opponent turnovers, Jacksonville Jaguars has only scored once. So normally after getting these turnovers, they haven't been able to manufacture points. Anytime you get the ball on a short field against a Patriots team or any other team, you've got to be able to turn those turnovers into points on the scoreboard.
First down and 10. Talib, by the way, is suited up, and he is on the sideline. We saw him in pregame warm-ups, but as Solomon has told you, and you've seen already, he is not starting today. Hip injury. First and 10. Henne, incomplete. Outside. McCourty was watching Blackman at about the 34-yard line and thought your fantasy season was over. It's not. NFL Playoff Challenge is back and better than ever. You could win a trip to Super Bowl 48 in 2014. Play at NFL.com/fantasy. Henne's first incompletion. Here is a second down and 10 after the interception on a deflected ball by Przinski. Starting in the secondary today for an injured player for the Jaguars. Montel Owens again. Good block by Mercedes Lewis, the tight end. And down to the 29-yard line. Tackle was made by Cole. A gain of 11 on the play by Owens. First and 10.
Surprising how well. Look at they block down here with Monroe, and then that's where the hole is created. The kick out block by the tight end Mercedes Lewis, but that left side of the offensive line just collapsed the defense for the New England Patriots. Their ability to both run it and passing surprisingly well so far in this game.
No huddle stays intact for the offense, as you can see. First down and 10 from the 29-yard line of New England. He's sitting over his cushion in a lot of this New England defense.
Well, he's taking his time trying to keep the ball away from that Patriots offense.
Looking for Shorts across the way. Arrington was there with the coverage at about the 19-yard line. Second down and 10.
Remember, Tom Brady talked about, we talked to him about the rhythm and tempo of the game. He said we reeled off 93 offensive plays against the 49ers last week. And I think what Jacksonville is doing by going no huddle, they're slowing it down. They want to keep the ball away from Tom Brady, take time off the clock, and put points on the scoreboard. Over the course of 4 quarters, at this pace, they'll keep those offensive snaps for the Patriots somewhere around 50.
Richard Murphy is in, and he is stopped as he tries to take it in. Cole was there. Wilfork had a hand on him. Loss of 3 on the play, and it goes back to the 33.
Yeah, Marquise Cole is one of the corners seeing action now with Dennard out, Aqib Talib out, so he's playing that slot corner, the nickel package, which means he has to factor in on the run game, Kevin. If they're going to run it at the nickel corner, you've got to be able to come up and make tackles in the run game.
The DB has come in, Tavon Wilson, and on the line, rookie Justin Francis defensively for New England. It's 3rd down and 3 for the Patriot 32. 3rd down and 13. Penny. And Mercedes Lewis knocked out of bounds across the way. Wilson is the one to usher him. Gain of 9 on that 3rd and 13. Now 4th down, they'll have to try for 3.
Wilson comes into the game, and look at Lewis. He's 6'6", 240-plus pounds. We always wonder why doesn't he have even more production. I think when you get matched up against someone like Wilson where you have a height advantage, I think Lewis has got to win a high percentage amount of time.
Here's Josh Scobie. You can see he's had a very nice season so far. A 41-yard field goal try. Negligible wind inside the stadium today, the old Gator Bowl. 3 more on the board and a 10-0 lead for Jacksonville. 5:43 in the first. This is going to raise some eyebrows around the NFL. Mike Mularkey's team up by 10. Back in Jacksonville, aerial coverage of today's game is provided by DirecTV. As we said, this was the place where the New England Patriots won their last Super Bowl, and Deion Branch was the Super Bowl MVP. That was some 8 years ago.
Wow. That was quite some time.
McCourty is now back, and this ball is going to go out of the end zone and a touchback to the 20. It'll be 1st down and 10 for Tom Brady. As you can take a look at some of the numbers in the early going here in North Florida.
Time of possession is critical because, Tom Brady and this Patriots offense, they want to reel off more plays. They only have 2 plays so far in this game and hold the ball for only 45 seconds. I think it's a testament to the game plan for Mike Mularkey and the Jacksonville Jaguars. And right now, they're not only winning that battle, but they're winning the one on the scoreboard.
Ridley is out there. He's in motion to the bottom of your screen. 1st and 10 for Brady and the offense at their own 20-yard line. Over 4,000 yards passing for Tom once again. Good try on the far side for Lloyd. Defended by Cox. 2nd down and 10. Jason Babin was let go by Philadelphia a month ago. Signed by Jacksonville. Became an instant starter and has made an instant impact on this defense. Here's Darrell Smith now. He is back with the team. His season debut. He missed the first 14 games with a groin injury and subsequent surgery. In the secondary, Dwight Lowry out with a foot injury, and the guy who made the interception back on that first New England possession, Chris Pazinski, has taken his place. 2nd down and 10. Good time. And down the middle they go. Manawanu makes the grab and takes it all the way down for a 32-yard catch and run to the 48-yard line of Jacksonville.
Manawanu, you see him coming right here up the seam. It's play action fake. The threat of the run game that we talked about at the top in our eye vision. When they fake the run game, they'll get open at the 2nd level, and they'll always get it to this guy, Kevin.
Manawanui. I've got to get his name straight. As they go outside, 7-yard gain. That's Welker on that 1st down and 10. Put him at the 41-yard line. 2nd down and 3. Ridley with a block by Hernandez. The 1,000-yard rusher takes it. Allen brings him down. And the tackle is made at the 25, a burst of 16 and a 1st down.
And you notice what Brady has done in this possession? They're going up-tempo. And this is an off-tackle play behind Vollmer, blocking on the right side. But look, they're snapping the ball again and running off plays.
Ridley again has the 1st down as he goes off the right side. Pickup of 7 down to the 17-yard line. The pace, the tempo of this offense is something to watch.
Yeah, we talked to Tom Brady about it last night. He said, we believe in our conditioning. Our players can adapt and adjust. Now we're going to test their ability to stay with us.
2nd down, 3, Ridley. In the secondary, hit by Przinski, taken down at the 9. That's another 1st down run and a gain of 9 right there. He had a 16-yard run, Ridley did, earlier in the drive.
It forces the defense to get their calls in early, to get set at the line of scrimmage. Tom Brady's going to try to catch them off balance.
1st and goal, Ridley hit by middle linebacker Paul Pazlesny. It's a gain of 2.
He speeds it up and speeds it up for everybody, not just the Jacksonville Jaguars, but cameramen, for everyone who's involved in shooting the game. We have to be in position, trying to keep up and catch up to Tom Brady. He's orchestrating this offense, and boy, he's going to just try to pick this defense apart. You leave someone uncovered, he'll find them, and it's a touchdown.
2nd down and goal at the 7. Started back at the 20. Brady looking for Hernandez. Krasinski is covering. No yellow on the field. Incomplete pass.
Great coverage by Krasinski. Not many can stay with Hernandez down inside the red zone. You see him right there in the slot. But watch him try to undercut the route. If it's thrown flat, he's going to have a good angle to pick it off. He only allowed Brady to get that ball in one area. It had to be the perfect throw in order for that one to be a touchdown. They'll go back to Hernandez or Welker in this situation.
Woodhead, bottom of your screen in motion. 3rd and goal at the 7. Woodhead had a terrific game against San Francisco last week. Brady, incomplete. Looking for Lloyd. Coverage on the play by Derek Cox. It's 4th and goal. They're going to try for 3.
Now see, I think Brady understands he wanted, of course, the receiver. Here it is right here. He thought he was going to go flat. And Lloyd saying, hey, put it over the top, because Cox undercuts the route. Once he undercuts it, you have to get it over the top for the touchdown. It was really just good coverage by Cox, throwing off the timing between the quarterback, Tom Brady, and his wide receiver, Brandon Lloyd.
Manowanui was the one who made a big play on that drive. That's a 25-yard field goal. Manowanui had a 32-yard reception from Brady. Patriots are on the board. Brady with Mallett there in the way. Josh McDaniels, look, he's shaking that right hand. We've got a replay of where we think he hurt his hand on a Babin hit after a throw on that last drive, which culminated on a 25-yard field goal by Gostkowski. And here is Stevens' subsequent kickoff, which will go on the move. It's Murphy out of LSU. Some blockers ahead and brought down by Arrington and by Ebner. 32-yard return. Here it is once again.
Yeah, Jason Babin coming in. He'll get the spin move. Now watch the right hand right there. He takes a whack on it. Babin comes in to wrap him up. You'll see Brady will get up. He'll start shaking it off, trying to recover. But he did throw more pass plays on that drive to get him into the field goal range. So he's battling. He's going to try to shake it off. Remember, he rested this week because he was having some arm problems, at least some fatigue in that throwing shoulder.
Murphy's in the backfield. They're going up against the nickel. It is 1st down and 10. You can see the avalanche of defenders and a big hit there with the gain of 1 on the play by Gerard Mayo. He is the leading tackler for New England, and the ball at the 35-yard line.
So we're going to see a contrast in styles. We're going to see the Patriots try to speed this game up, and we're going to see Chad Henne try to slow it down, lead the clock, and limit the opportunities for Tom Brady and his offense.
Love and Wilfork will be in that down position. Chandler Jones will be the 3rd guy. Ninkovich, as we told you before, taking the place of the injured Brandon Spikes today. And if you're joining us late, Talib not starting, hip injury, but suited up and can play. 2nd down and 9. Shipley, and he's got the seam, and he's off to the races. Chased by Cole, knocked out of bounds on the play. Also, Gregory trying to stop him on a 36-yard catch and run to the Patriot 29.
Oh, watch this. This is just going to be a nice, go ahead and roll it. He'll come across the formation. And take a look at this one. Cole's in chase, and there is also Chung, who can't prevent the catch. Just a nice throw and catch in the secondary right now for the Patriots to struggle.
Good block by the left tackle, Monroe. They're going deep. McCourty was watching Blackman. That is an incompletion. 2nd down and 10 as we send this pass to New York and James Brown.
Steelers need to win to stay alive for the postseason.
JB, you remember in overtime last week, being through a pick. This time, Leon Hall does the honors. 17 yards into the end zone. Steelers are on top 7-0 over the Steelers.
A Cincy win, and they're in. Kevin and Solomon.
All right, James, thank you. Here's 2nd down and 10. We've had 2 consecutive scores for Jacksonville. Interception on a deflected ball for Brady. Murphy will take it again. And they've got all kinds of guys making the stop. Chandler Jones on top, and also a stop there by Patrick Chung. It's a gain of 4 by Murphy Solomon down to the 25.
Oh, Mike Mularkey's drawn up an excellent game plan. He's taking advantage of some of the coverage matchups. He feels that Shipley can get open with his quickness. We've already seen Cecil Shorts and Justin Blackman working the offense as well. Henne's doing a really good job of slowing the game down He's surveying the defense, really taking his time. The protection is holding up, and I think that's the key right now for the Jaguars offense.
Wilson's coming in the secondary. Francis on the line. 36 for Chad Henne with time and incomplete. Mercedes Lewis was crossing at about the 15. The coverage there was provided by Chung and by Wilson. It'll be 4th down and 6, and again, they'll try for 3.
Yeah, but still good protection. And watch Henne, he's able to step up in the pocket. And he just throws this one a little too soon as Chung cuts off Lewis. Lewis can't allow himself to be cut off from that ball. He expected Lewis to continue across the field and go make the catch.
So the big play on this drive was to the wide receiver, Jordan Shipley. He was Colt McCoy's big target down in Texas. Began with the Cincinnati Bengals. 36-yard catch and run for him. And this sets up a 43-yard field goal try, which will not be good. A miss. Only the 3rd of the season for Scobie. The snap came from Jeremy Kane. Let's watch it here and see. A little bit low, saved by the rookie punter and holder Anger, but he's wide left. They miss from 43. They can't cash in, so now the Patriots will begin it at their own 33 and decent beginning field position.
Wasn't perfect, but I don't think it was enough to throw off the timing. You still got to go ahead and make those. But right now, the Jaguars are getting great opportunities to put points on the board against this Patriots defense.
Ridley in the backfield, 1st down and 10. Paulo Manowanui is in motion. Fulmer will try to block, as will Conley. Then they've got all kinds of guys stacking them up, bringing them down. Alu on the defensive line. Led the brigade along with Dwan Landry. There is no gain. It is 2nd down and 10.
Oh, they've already tried to get the ball over to Brandon Lloyd, have the Patriots, and he told me it took some time to adjust because the 3 years he was with Josh McDaniel, it was a perimeter offense, and here they like to throw it to the tight ends, like to get it to Wes Welker. He has to be patient on the outside to create big plays.
2nd down at about 10. Welker finds the gap. Brought down by Russell, who tried to strip him of the ball out to the 45-yard line. Pickup of 11. That is a Patriot 1st down.
This Patriots offense is predicated on high percentage throws. Wes Welker, 100 catches coming into today's game, and they've only played 14 of them, so he's going to catch a lot over the middle.
Good block by Wendell, the center. That buys time for Brady. Another pick. This one is taken by Derek Cox, whose first career interception was off Peyton Manning, and now he can put Brady on that list too. Brady is picked off for a 2nd time in 3 possessions.
Watch at the top of your screen, right here at the bottom. Cox will undercut. He'll go right over the top shoulder. He out-fights Brandon Lloyd for the football. And Lloyd didn't even expect him to knife in underneath to be able to make that grab. That was a trusting throw from Tom Brady. I'm not so sure that he even saw Cox with that kind of position to be able to step in front of Brandon Lloyd to intercept that ball. Great catch in terms of ball skills for Derek Cox.
Talib is in at the corner now. First time he has played today. 1st down and 10 after the pick. Fake end around, time for Henne outside. Oh, he's got room to roam. Mayo can't get him. Pastor will try to throw a block. Owens on the move and to the Jacksonville 20. Making the New England 21-yard line a 55-yard catch and run. And that's how the first quarter comes to a close. 2 Brady interceptions. Jacksonville by 7 at the end of one on CBS. That is a pretty impressive note there on Jacksonville's first quarter offensive output.
Oh, they're rolling up some plays. They're making plays. Henne, I think, is off to a great start. 10 of 14 so far in the ball game. They have a good mix of run and pass. And when they get the ball in the open field, they're breaking tackles and ripping off huge chunks of yards.
Talib is out. Another linebacker is in, Tracy White. 1st down and 10 from the 21. Henne inside Shorts. Cecil Shorts makes the stop. The tackle was made by McCourty.
And there you see Owens here. That's just going to be a screenplay that misdirection, but when they get him to the outside, look, he outflanks the entire defense. So it's just clear selling up the sideline. He'll cut it back up the middle, but 53 yards on the catch and run. Great design on the screenplay to outflank the defense for a big play.
Did you see Talib holding his left hip as he was running in pursuit? That was it's painful to watch. 2nd down and 1. Richard Murphy. hit on the play. It is a gain of 3. That Gregory was down there. Also Trevor Scott getting off the pile. Gain of 3 as it stands right now with the ball at the 9-yard line, and the flag was thrown in that vicinity.
Holding. 84 offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
So that's going to push it back now, making it 2nd down and 11. Schwartz had a 10-yard reception moments ago.
No, it's no surprise. Mike Mularkey, when we spoke with him, he says, hey, this Patriots defense has given up more explosive plays than any other defense in the NFL. And already they've ripped off huge chunks with his play calling.
Francis on that defensive line, 2nd down and 11. They get by Wimper. Low throw, which is aiming outside, is going to be incomplete. Or he caught the ball. It was a grab, and it was made by the tight end Mercedes Lewis. The coverage on the play by Chung.
The ball's going to be thrown to that low outside because they thought Chung might break on this and intercept it. It's thrown late to the outside of the numbers, and that's why you have to throw it low and to the outside where the defender can't get it. It's a really good catch by the 6'6" Mercedes Lewis, picking that one off his shoestring.
Good catch. Gain of 5 on the play. He was the Mackey Award winner at UCLA. A high pick by this franchise. 3rd and 6 now. Interception by Cox has given Jacksonville this possession. Look out from the side as the wobbly pass is over the head of Blackman. And the coverage on the play by McCourty. It looked like Francis was bearing down the rookie out of Rutgers, and they got to try for 3 once again. Henne was drilled.
Wow, coming in from the blind side. Henne getting rid of this football just in the nick of time because he does take a hit. And had he held it for just another beat, that ball is going to flutter up maybe for an interception, but good pressure that time by the Patriots defense.
Trevor Scott got a hand in there with a hit. Francis in his grill. Now that forces the 4th down and a 35-yard field goal try from Josh Scobie. He missed last time. And this one is good from 35. So they cash in on the interception of Brady by Derek Cox. They've got 3 points off turnover, make it 6 off turnovers, and lead by 10. Brady picked off twice. They've gotten 2 field goals off those turnovers. They'd like to get more, but they're making some headway here, and they lead by 10 to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And even though over 200 yards total offense for Jacksonville in the first quarter, something says it's not nearly enough. We've seen the Patriots, boy, come to life like what we saw in the second half against the 49ers on Sunday night.
Slater and Vereen were back to get this kickoff. McCourty was back there last time. Normally was the second kickoff, but not this. Coming up in the Verizon Halftime Report, JB, Dan, Shannon Boomer, and Coach Cowler. The latest NFL scores, highlights, and news, all coming up in the Verizon Halftime Report from our CBS studios in New York. So they've made a change right there. 2 turnovers and 3 Patriot possessions. Here comes Brady again, 1st and 10 from his 20.
No, I don't think the interception thrown to Cox was a result of his hand being banged up. It was just a bad decision.
Going to go up the middle here. Brandon Bolden is the running back who brings it up and picks up 2 on the play. And they'll put him at about the 21, 22-yard line. Hit on the play by Mincy.
Now, Brady's been intercepted twice. The first one on a tipped pass should not have been intercepted. I think the ball should have been caught by Stephen Ridley. But on that second interception, I think he's got to have a better feel for where the defender is and the leverage he has on the intended receiver, Brandon Lloyd, and not make the commitment to throw the football there.
Brady on 2nd down and 9. Throws it away. The pressure was coming right up the middle. Babin was pressing. Knighton up the middle. Incomplete, 3rd and 9.
Now what did Jacksonville tell us they want to do? They want to move Tom Brady off his spot, force him to check the ball down, and not allow yards after the catch. Clearly, pressure in his face, forcing him to move his position. And when a quarterback like Tom Brady has to move around a lot, he tends to be less accurate throwing the football. You allow him to settle in, he will get hot and shred your defense.
Good hit in the offensive backfield with Brady. 3rd down and 9. Extra defensive back is in there. Aaron Ross, the former New York Giant. Brady hit by Knighton, bounces away, throws it away. Welker in his sights, covered on the play by Landry, 3 and out. They got to punt the ball.
I don't know that anyone moves better in the pocket than Tom Brady, just to buy a little more time. Look, he's going nowhere, but he's moving. He's resetting, making defenders miss. But he didn't move and change his launch point that much. Babin is hitting hard now twice in this ball game. Right now, he's just struggling to find some receivers who are getting separation and getting open at the second level.
Zoltan Mesko to point to a punt for the New England Patriots, and deep back will be Jordan Shipley. He had a 36-yard catch and run a little bit earlier in the game, and he's back to retrieve this one at about the 32. He got by Slater. And then he was belted on the play. Bolden was right there. Also Rivera. 8-yard return, 47-yard punt. Henny back out there for Jacksonville. After the 3-and-out by New England, 1st and 10, Jacksonville at their 40-yard line. Chung is on the sideline. Tavon Wilson has taken his place at the safety. This is on the defensive line with Scott. Here's Murphy. 1st down and 10. Ninkovich brings him down near the 48-yard line. That's a burst of 8 yards for Jacksonville.
Chad Henne has led this Jaguars offense to more yards of total offense in the first quarter than any previous team. He's been red hot. 12 of 17. We told you, having played against the Patriots in the AFC East when he was in Miami, very familiar with this Patriots defense. Look, Tom Brady trying to get his guys fired up before this game slips away.
Reed has come in top of your screen, 2nd down and 2. Owens in the backfield for Henne.
He's taking every tick off that 25-second clock.
Joe Owens blocked there by Waneri. Not much right there. White with the tackle, gain of 1.
All right, Tony Romo, warm.
7 consecutive games, 11 times this season, JB. Dez Bryant has a touchdown reception. This one from Tony Romo, 58 yards away. Tie ball game, Saints, Cowboys, 7-7.
Shannon, I thought having a fractured finger is supposed to hurt you.
Tape him up, let's play.
All right, back to Kevin and Solly.
All right, James, 3rd down and 1 right here. Henne over the head of Shipley with the coverage on the play by Arrington on the near side. That's a 3-and-out for Jacksonville after the Patriot 3-and-out.
Oh, and he knows he should have converted this one. He had the receiver open. There was separation. So whenever you get that much space, you got to go ahead and make that throw. It was just an inaccurate pass by Henne. We'd said he can get red hot, but he can also go cold over the course of a ball game.
Ryan Anger is a rookie on the right, and he's got NFL rookie records right now riding with his gross and his net punting. Welker is back to retrieve it for the Pats inside the 10-yard line. Welker from about the 8. And jumping on his back and making the stop after the 10-yard return was Antoine Blake. He's a rookie. Brady back out there for New England. Your favorite superstar performers honor acting legend Dustin Hoffman, king of late night David Letterman, and one of the great rock bands of all time, Led Zeppelin. The Kennedy Center Honors, Wednesday only on CBS. Woodhead in the backfield after the Jacksonville 3-and-out, 1st and 10, 18-yard line. Up the middle he goes, as you can see, with a gain of 2, and hit on the play by Jason Babbitt.
Oh, Patriots offense, their first 4 possessions, 2 turnovers. They get 1 field goal, then they go 3-and-out. And nothing upsets Bill Belichick more than to see turnovers after committing a season-high 4 turnovers last week against the 49ers. They start this game with turnovers on 2 of their first 3 possessions.
Bolden comes in on 2nd down and 8. Brandon Bolden the call, blocked by Mankin. Gain of 4. Knighton had a hand on him. And Jason Babin also with a hit. Finally, Landry nails him.
You might ask, what is the Jacksonville Jaguars doing to sort of stalemate this New England Patriots offense? First of all, if you were to talk to the Patriots right now, they'd say, no, we're doing it to ourselves. We're turning the ball over. And on the defense, we're not tackling. We're not keeping guys in front of us. Bill Belichick coaching them up every single area of this football team.
3rd and 4. Solder with the block at the left tackle. Aaron Hernandez on the move. Brzezinski makes the stop. The gain near the 38. Catch and run of 14. New England a much-needed first down.
A much-needed first down. Tom Brady's going to go back to doing what he does best, Kevin. That's getting the ball to the tight ends like Aaron Hernandez, getting the ball to Wes Welker in the slot. This offense is predicated on high percentage throws to the slot receiver in Wes Welker and the tight end Aaron Hernandez. That's why they really do miss Rob Gronkowski as we take a look at Mr. Kraft. He visited us in the booth before the game. Always a pleasure to talk with him.
First down and 10 from the 37-yard line. And a catch on the near side by Deion Branch, hit by Rashean Mathis. A gain of 6 on the play to the 43. Jonathan Kraft there on the right. Todd Kraft on the left.
Great friend to CBS, of course. He always stops by to say hello to you, doesn't he?
Because you're here by my side. Second down and 4. Ooh, a big hit by Krasinski. Catch and a good hold on there by Deion Branch. And a field he's familiar with. He was the Super Bowl MVP here. Gain of 6.
Any of these New England Patriots, when we talked to them last night, they said one thing about the Jacksonville Jaguars, their 2-12 record, does not tell the story. They're still fighting. They're still playing hard. I think you could see on that hit by Krasinski. The Jacksonville Jaguars now, they've got some fight in them.
First and 10, Bolden in the backfield. And incomplete. Cox was covering the wide receiver Brandon Lloyd at about the 35 or so. Second and 10.
We got to give Cox a lot of credit. That's the comeback route to the outside. Watch him break on the ball. And Lloyd can't get much separation. He drifts a little bit on that route, can work back toward the ball a little bit more. You can't allow the defender to cut underneath you to get to the football.
That's the 4th time they've thrown to Lloyd. Yet no reception. Second down and 10. Screen. Woodhead. Mankiewicz trying to throw a block. Woodhead making great moves inside the 30. 24-yard catch and run. Tackle by Posluszny. Spot him at the 27.
When this offense is doing this, throwing the ball inside, we talked about the tight end, we talked about Wes Welker, and now Danny Woodhead as the check down runner, catches the ball out of the backfield, can break tackles and make plays.
Woodhead on first and 10, trying to cut the corner, and again stopped across the way, and the tackle made by Darrell Smith after a gain of 4 to the 23 of Jacksonville.
And the up-tempo style, as you can take a look, Danny Woodhead, one of 2 NFL players with 4 rushing touchdowns and 2 receiving touchdowns. Arian Foster is the other. So that's pretty good company for Danny Woodhead.
Bolden is in for in the secondary, second down and 6. The hesitation and the stop right there by Jeremy Mincey. 94 was the first big hit, loss of a couple on the play, and they'll push him back to about the 25, 26-yard line.
Excellent penetration by Mincey. He foiled that play all by himself. Beating the offensive lineman off the line of scrimmage, getting penetration into the backfield. Now Tom Brady facing a 3rd and 8. This is when they look to go to Wes Welker in the seam. They'll go to Aaron Hernandez. And also, you got to pay attention to Danny Woodhead coming out of the backfield.
10th play of the drive, 3rd and 8. Hernandez may have been offside. Hernandez gets that catch, though, as he got inside the defensive back, Harris, down to about the 11-yard line. 14-yard catch, but I think Hernandez may have jumped a little bit early. Let's see.
A little bit antsy. Showing blitz, want to get off the ball, win at the line of scrimmage. Got to wait for the ball to be snapped.
Illegal motion. Offense, number 81. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 3rd down.
That is the first penalty on the Patriots.
And here he is right there. See him moving a little quick. Well, that hurts. They were coming after Tom Brady. The protection held up on the blitz. Danny Woodhead stepped up and took on the blitzing linebacker, buying time for Brady to make the completion.
Mathis is the 5th defensive back for the Jacksonville Jaguars. 3rd and 13. They need the 17. Brady gets by 1. He got by Russell Allen. That's almost picked up by Posluszny. That's incomplete. 4th and 13. They'll try for 3.
Boy, pressure comes right up the middle. There's Allen right there. and he's going to miss. Look at Brady's moving in the pocket, but Mincy recovers, comes in from the blind side, was able to get that ball tipped just as it left the hand of Tom Brady. Nearly intercepted for the third time in this ball game. I mean, they moved him off the spot, Kevin. That's what the Jaguars want to do defensively.
49-yard try now by Gostkowski. And he just slips it in the upright. Good one from 49 yards away. Hernandez, a 14-yard catch and run. Wood had a 24-yard catch and run, setting up the field goal. Patriots offensive resume today, 2 interceptions, 2 field goals, and a 3-and-out. As they're looking at the pictures across the way and Tom Brady. For the Jacksonville Jaguars, they had shots at scoring the first 4 times they had it. They just missed a field goal, but they knocked one through from 41-35. They got a 3-yard touchdown pass to Blackman. And on the run, here comes the reserve running back, Poston. This is the number. That's a nice tackle made on the play by Bolden. 15-yard return. This is number 4 kickoff return coverage team in the NFL of New England. Nobody knows the game like a quarterback. Break down all the NFL action on NFL Monday QB tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern. Only on CBS Sports, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. CBS Sports Network bringing you that. And the player is down. And the player down for Jacksonville, former Giant Greg Jones. We take a timeout. Greg Jones had 5 starts for the Giants a season ago as a rookie. He was let go. He was signed by this Jacksonville team in mid-November. They help him off the field, as you can see, on that kickoff return. And so now Jacksonville begins it from their 21. First down and 10. Talib is out there, and also remaining in the secondary in place of Chung is Tavon Wilson. First and 10. Chung was a starter. Until Owens, blocked by Lewis. Flag is thrown. Wilson makes the stop. They usher him out of bounds. Talib over there as well. As it stands now, it's a gain of 3 near the 24.
This is what the Jaguars don't need.
Holding, number 89, the offense. 10-yard penalty, deep first down.
Yeah, the holding on Mercedes Lewis. And if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, you take a look at their numbers. They need to put together a drive. They need to eat time off the clock with about 5 minutes to go here in the half. You don't want to give the ball back to Tom Brady here at the end of the second half. You want to be able to sustain drive. They're bleeding the 25-second clock, trying to take their time, but they're going to have to pick up a couple of first downs if they're not going to give the ball back to Brady and his offense.
In the nickel, first and 20. Cecil Shorts.
Oh, that's rare.
Talib was over there covering.
You don't see that often from Cecil Shorts. And Mike Mularkey, they said no one saw Cecil Shorts having the kind of year that he's having now in his second season out of Mount Union College. This ball's thrown on the money by Henne and just took his eye off of it for a little bit. We told you he was used to creating yards after the catch. He was looking for a catch and run opportunity there. Jacksonville, their 37th drop pass so far this season. That's the most in the AFC.
Second down and 20 for Jacksonville. Henne. This is grabbed by Isaiah Stanback, promoted from the practice squad to the active roster this week. It's a gain of 6 on the play. And let's see, they got him at the 17.
Talk about catch and run for Cecil Shorts. It was the catch and run that broke the back of the Patriots in that game winner. Over to Michael Crabtree in front of Kyle Arrington in the fourth quarter of the ball game 1 week ago. They believe they can make some plays against this Patriot secondary, and they come in less than 100% without Dennard, without Aqib Talib. So hopes are high for Jacksonville.
Third and 14, the blitz was on. That is almost intercepted on the deflection, going for Shipley. Big time hit in the secondary coming through. 4th and 14. They got to go Tracy White.
Yeah, Henne is very lucky this ball wasn't intercepted. If Shipley doesn't get a hand on it, see how it just flutters? That ball is going to be intercepted. It looked like Aqib Talib may have had an opportunity to get a hand on it, but Shipley tips it up. Look at that. Number 31, Aqib Talib. Seems like he always has his hand on that hip. That's bothering me.
It hurts. I got to watch it. Here's Welker. Driven all the way back to about the 18-yard line. They fake the reverse with Branch, and then he is brought down on the play. The Tostin 35 got a hand on it, but the first hit was put on it by Antoine Blake, who's out of Texas, El Paso. 15-yard return, 65-yard punt. Let's take a look at the playoff picture as we see the AFC and where the Patriots are right now, number 3. That means if they finish there, they would not have a first-round bye.
And the Cincinnati Bengals, they're 7-0 lead over the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. If they win, they clinch a playoff berth. Very significant for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Daniel Fells is now in as a tight end after the 3-and-out by Jacksonville. 1st and 10. A good block by Wendell. There's Fells, who makes the grab. That's just the 4th reception of the season for the former Denver Bronco. It's a gain of 8. In the center, Ryan Wendell came through and made a really nice block to afford that time to Brady. 2nd and 2. Woodhead, back by Conley. And up to with a ball close to a first down, up to near the 44-yard line.
Looks like it's going to be a little bit shy. They're going to have to go for it here on 3rd down. See, yeah, it's going to be just a little bit short. See if they run it again, or does Brady take matters into his own hands? Bring it into heavy people.
Manawanui comes in as a fullback. Also coming in is Ridley. Now we're going to put Manawanui as a tight end, and he's in motion as you see on the 3rd and 1. It was directly snapped to the running back, and that's Ridley. Stopped and hit on the play because Wesley. Gain of 2, but enough for a first down to the 45-yard line.
Wow, this is a neat looking play. Direct snap, as you mentioned, to Stephen Ridley. They'll bring the backside tackle, Sebastian Vollmer. He comes around. Look at Vollmer out in front. And he's just able to get the edge on Puslusny and fall forward for the first down.
There's a ball handling issues for Ridley as a story certainly in New England. 1st and 10. Defensive backs, they get a quick hold there, does Brzezinski on the wide receiver, Wes Welker. Gain of 6 on the play, right at midfield, and we've reached the 2-minute warning. Brady is 9 of 18 with 2 picks in the Pats down. And coming up, the Verizon Halftime Report, JB, Dan, Shan, Boomer, and Coach Cowher. The latest NFL scores and highlights all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Here's a 2nd down and 4. Patriots with 3 timeouts. Into the nickel, Mathis is the 5th DB, and that's caught by Welker. He's got it, 41-yard line. Coverage on the play by rookie out of Florida State, Mike Harris. A pickup of 8. They'll move the chains 1st down.
Tom Brady is now 10 of 19. How has he gotten back in rhythm? Going to the tight ends, Gonzalez and Fales. Working to the slot receiver, Wes Welker. Danny Woodhead out of the backfield. We talk about high percentage throws. He's getting it going now.
Welker, good block on the play by Vollmer. Brzezinski will make the stop. Smith is there as well. Catch and run to the 31, 11-yard pickup, and that is another first down.
And the little screen pass over to Welker, that's a high percentage throw as well. And the nice catch and run. And that's the one thing Jacksonville said. They had to make the tackles on those catch and run plays.
1st and 10. Up the middle. Oh, and a nice hit there by Smith. He gets Welker high, 8-yard pickup. And they'll push this ball down to the 22-yard line.
This is where the Patriots, I think, they sort of outsmart everyone else. They make the adjustments, and why aren't the Jaguars making the adjustments when we know where the ball is going?
2nd and 2. And that is grabbed. The tackle was made by Cox. The catch was made by Lloyd. It is a gain of 8. It is a first down. They'll put the ball at the 14-yard line of the Jaguars.
Can't tell you how quickly Brady goes through his progression. He came all the way backside on the slant route to Brandon Lloyd for that play.
We had a long talk with him last night about this, which we'll get into in the second half, because it was really interesting the way they worked their offense in practice. 1st and 10. Pressure is there. He throws it away, and coming up the middle with another nice play is Babin, who has really transformed the way they pass rush on the defensive line of Jacksonville, 2nd and
Pass
10.
thrown in the direction of the facility of the eligible receiver, and the quarterback was being affected by the throw.
Babin said, hey, they love my energy here. I think he was saying something about his former place of employment with the Philadelphia Eagles. You see the spin move right there against Nate Solder. Number 77 comes around, put pressure right in the face of Tom Brady. He's been in that backfield for most of the first half.
2nd and 10, still the Nichols. Woodhead, nice catch. Good looking touchdown. 14-yard play. Woodhead, who's coming off a terrific game last week, maybe his best as a Patriot, has a 14-yard catch and run TD right here.
Well, Bosworth, look, 56, you've got to get out there. And you got to be much faster than that. Got to be over there and in coverage, working against Woodhead. Great catch and the ability to maintain his balance and get it in for a touchdown. And how about this? We could have a tied ball game on the extra point.
Gostowski will try the extra point. With seconds remaining in the first half, away it goes, and through it is, and we are tied. Woodhead had 2 rushing touchdowns last week against San Francisco. Has his 3rd receiving touchdown of the season right there. Just to tie John Unitas for throwing a touchdown pass in his 47th consecutive game.
Oh, that's just amazing. Tied for 2nd on the all-time list behind Drew Brees with 54. Remember, Drew Brees had his record stopped in a Thursday night game where he threw 5 interceptions against the Atlanta Falcons. So that record is very much in reach for Tom Brady. We'll have to visit that going into the 2013 season. Right now he's just trying to win a ball game in Jacksonville.
He's come back to tie, though, and you can see the kickoff picked up by Potter, who's a reserve tight end, and he takes it out to about the 32. 11-yard return on the play. Former college defensive end getting it and bringing it up. Tomorrow on CBS, it may be cold outside, but there's one place that's always oh so hot. Hawaii Five-0. That's tomorrow, and it's only on CBS.
Tom Brady was so good, we sat and talked with him last night, and he just talked about, hey, it's the little things. When we do the little things right, we tend to win ball games. Communication, route depth, assignment, execution. See, if we do that, then we can be explosive as an offense.
New England, their first.
Patriots take a time. They had 6 in the secondary, and Henny had a chance to look at it, and the conversation continues with Tom Brady on the side with 2 interceptions, and they had the 4 turnovers last week and the 2 today, and that is something so rare for this team. Like we said before, they're number 1 in the NFL in the giveaway takeaway at plus 22 coming into today, and they got a wide margin there.
Yeah, and what it coming into today's game, Bill Belichick said we have to take care of the ball. That's priority number 1. It's been emphasized all week in practice. Tom Brady gets intercepted twice in the first quarter of the ball game and turned it around. As you see, Josh McDaniels coaching them up, talking to them about what they have to continue to do in the second half.
Into the dime. It's a pass which is dropped on the play by Tony Clemens. Some hard hitting in the secondary right there. Chung and others incomplete.
Well, this is a good play by Chung. It's not the defenseless hit. See that? See how he led to with his shoulder to the body of Clemens? That's why you can make that kind of physical hit without being flagged for a hit on a defenseless player to the head or shoulder area.
Like last year, Chung this season battling injuries. 2nd down and 10. Good time again. That's caught by Justin Blackman. And he swirls around about the 41-42-yard line on the 2nd down and 10. Jacksonville picks up a timeout here. And they're very close to the first, but as they spot the ball, probably shy by about a half yard.
You know, we talked about those 2 interceptions by Tom Brady in the first quarter. Jacksonville Jaguars, 6 points off those 2 turnovers. They had opportunity to get even more. And that's what Tom Brady and the Patriots do. They just grade on you. They wear you down. You have to take full advantage of those opportunities to put even more points on the board, because sooner or later, they're going to come screaming and clawing their way back into the ball game.
Wilfork and Scott will be on the defensive line for New England. 6 defensive backs, 3rd and 1. Henny, Shipley, the play by Gregory.
See, smart play by Gregory. He led with the shoulder to the body of a defenseless player.
19-yard pickup. That takes us to halftime. We're tied 13-13. Brady a couple picks. Also a touchdown catch and run by Woodhead. You're watching NFL football on CBS, the home of Super Bowl 47. You're listening to a Pepsi NFL anthem by Aerosmith. Download this and other NFL-inspired anthems at PepsiAnthems.com. That is our halftime score. 2-12 Jacksonville, 10-4 New England. What do you think of the quarterback play in the first half?
Oh, you would expect Tom Brady to come out red hot, but actually it was Chad Henne who came out with the hot hand to begin this football game. He had the early touchdown pass and then over 200 yards total offense for the Jacksonville Jaguars on offense in the first quarter of the ball game. 2 interceptions by Tom Brady in the first quarter of this game really has, I think, hindered their ability to get off to a good start. Jacksonville Jaguars have scored 6 points off those 2 interceptions for Tom Brady.
The Patriots won the flip of the coin to begin the game. They deferred, so they will take over with the first possession here in the second half as you take a look at the numbers with our quarterbacks, Henne and Tom Brady, a couple of former Michigan Wolverine quarterbacks going at it today. And it was a second-round pick by Miami back in 08. Bill Parcells was involved with that. Here is now the kickoff to start our second half here in Jacksonville. No chance of rain, about 60 degrees. And they'll leave it in the end zone. Matthew Slater. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line for New England. Time of possession's been interesting. The Patriots run more plays per game, 74 on average per game, than any other team in the NFL. And you can see the resume in the first half.
You can also see the slow start in the first half of the ball game. 2 interceptions on their first 3 possessions. They get the field goal, and then they had a 3 and out. So a slow start, but then on their last 2 possessions, they get the field goal and a touchdown to tie it up at halftime. You know Tom Brady's going to improve as the game goes on.
Mawanui is in there as the tight end. 1st and 10. They go outside here. It's a grab, and it was made with Cox defending on the rolling receiver, Brandon Lloyd, who is with Josh McDaniels, the offensive coordinator in Denver and St. Louis.
The trust between Tom Brady and Brandon Lloyd continues to improve, and he talked about Brandon Lloyd just improving in terms of his overall confidence of knowing when to break off routes and where to finish on pass plays. It'll only get better.
Quick handoff on 2nd down and 1 with a gain of 5. They bring it up there with Stephen Ridley, a 1,000-yard rusher, taking it up for the first down.
Well, Stephen Ridley, you talked about it, Kevin. There was one attempted pass to him where he tipped. That pass was intercepted. But he's got to be more secure with the football. He's had some fumbles in recent weeks. As they head into the postseason, he's got to do a better job on that.
You're in the nickel, 1st and 10. Nice looking grab right there by Lloyd. A beauty. And he's up near midfield on the play. 16-yard pickup, first down.
Yeah, and there you see Lloyd working against Derek Cox, who's been really good in coverage throughout the day. But this one, good timing on the route, being where Tom Brady expects him to be coming down with the catch.
1st and 10. Ridley hit, and Mike Harris is the one to make the stop, limiting him to a gain of a yard to the 49.
Came up and laid a lick on Ridley. Jaguars defense has come out fighting today. Their football team still has some fight. We talked about it with the 2-12 record, taking on the challenge to play toe-to-toe with the New England Patriots today. Now in the second half, this is where it really gets grimy and becomes more of a physical football game.
Nickel still in place defensively, 2nd down and 9. And they find the gap right there. Mathis will make the stop. Another catch on this drive. It's Lloyd for 14 right there.
You can see better timing. It's improved now in the second half, getting right to the spot. Brady cut that one loose early, and Brandon Lloyd just got there. Was able to make the catch, and now they have shown that they can go outside and work the perimeter we saw in the first half as Brady was keeping it in between the numbers, working it to the slot receiver, Wes Welker, tight end, and to the backs.
1st and 10. Ridley got by Alu and is in the secondary. And then brought down about the 18-yard line. It's a pickup of 12. Stop made by Smith and a first down for New England.
Their ability to run the football, now you talk about the balance. Look at the block down right there. And then they're able to get to the second level. They go quick, keeping the defense off balance.
Alu makes the stop on Ridley there. Gain of 3 to the 20-yard line. We talked to Brady last night about the pace they try to keep up in practice to get ready for what we're seeing right here.
Well, it's really about keeping the defense off balance. He's going to try to catch them doing something or maybe not quite ready. It's going to quick snap. If they don't cover the center and 2 guards, Brady will keep it himself and run for a significant gain.
Brady second down and 7. They were looking for Lloyd that time. Nice block, by the way, by Ridley coming out of the backfield. It bought Brady a little bit of time. 3rd and 7 now for New England.
You might say that Tom Brady was throwing that to the back shoulder of Brandon Lloyd, but he was really just trying to get rid of it. Didn't want to take a sack, didn't want to take a hit. You can tell the chemistry between he and Brandon Lloyd continuing to improve, but he has a tremendous amount of trust in guys like Wes Welker and Danny Woodhead coming out of the backfield.
9th play of the drive coming up. 3rd down and 7 from the 20. Brady tipped, and they were going for Woodhead with some nice coverage, and off the line, that was Jeremy Mincy. That's a defensive lineman trying to follow that very fast Woodhead out of the backfield.
This is great coverage by Mincy. Look at him get a hand up. That was a sure touchdown for Danny Woodhead. If Brady can get maybe another 2 inches above and beyond Mincy, that's going to drop right in there very nicely for a touchdown. Can't say enough about the coverage by a big guy like Mincy.
Gostowski has kicked field goals today in 25 and 49. This will be a 38-yard try. Mesko the hole. And the Patriots grab the lead, their first lead today. From 38, Lloyd big on that drive, catches of 9, 16, and 14 yards from Brady. Brady and Belichick, the winningest quarterback head coach combination in pro football history.
They've won 10 division titles together. They've gone to 5 Super Bowls together. It's a prolific tandem between head coach and quarterback.
The Patriots have 13 unanswered points. They just got a field goal of 38 from Gostowski, who kicks this one into the end zone, and Murphy will leave it right there to the 20-yard line with the touchback. First down and 10 yards to go for quarterback Chad Henne and his Jacksonville offense.
So now Henne and his offense have to regain some momentum. They had it, got off to a great start in this ball game, and now Tom Brady and the Patriots whittled away at that lead. Now have taken a 16-13 lead in the ball game. If Henne could do one thing better, he's got to convert on 3rd down. So far, 2 of 7 in the first half of the ball game. That's one area where the offense can improve.
Scott's going to join Love and Wilfork on the line. First down and 10 here for quarterback Chad Henne. Good time. I don't know where he was going right there. There was an interception right there. It's kicked off by Gregory. They're going to rule it down. They were going for the receiver, who was Cecil Shorts at about the 45, and Gregory scooped it and left, but incomplete.
Miscommunication between Henne and Cecil Shorts, who didn't continue his route over the middle of the field. It appeared to be overthrown, nearly intercepted, as you talked about, Kevin. But had he caught that ball going over the middle of the field, he's going to be able to catch and run with it and create a huge gain on the play for the Jaguars offense.
2nd and 10, McCourty and Arrington are the corners. Chong and Gregory are the safeties. Henne, 2nd and 10, underneath. Shorts, gain of 5, brought down by Gerard Mayo. Over 100 tackles for the 5th consecutive season.
Look at the Jacksonville Jaguars. 7 possessions in the first half of the ball game. And they were able to score on 3 of the first 4. You saw the missed field goal. We talked about having more opportunities to score and not taking advantage of it. Wishing you had those points now that you're in the second half and Tom Brady and his offense are starting to click. But they've got to convert these 3rd down plays.
Marquise Cole is coming as the 5th DB, 3rd and 5. Henne underneath and incomplete. There's a flag. They were going for Shorts. Coverage by Arrington. We haven't seen a lot of penalties today, just one previous to this on New England.
Pass interference, number 24 in the defense. Ball will be placed in the spot of the foul. First down.
When they got Talib, they moved McCourty to safety. That allowed them to then put Arrington in that slot. But with Talib not starting, they've had to kind of jumble around their secondary.
And Belichick would love to leave Devin McCourty at the free safety position where he's played very well, showing excellent range and ability to make plays on the ball.
And he will be looking into the nickel here on a 1st and 10. Blocked by Hooper, blocked by Lewis. And he's up to about the 35-yard line on a gain of 5.
Patriots defense came into today allowing the most explosive pass plays of any defense all season long, and you see they continue to do it today, whether it's Cecil Shorts, whether it's Shipley, or whether it's Montel Owens catching the ball out of the backfield and ripping off a 54-yard catch and run. They continue to struggle even though we're now in week 16. So they've got to improve if they expect to go deep into the postseason.
Still the 5 in the secondary. Here's a handoff and a draw play. Ninkovich is going to stop the running back, Montel Owens. It's a loss of 2. Tracy White, by the way, playing the nickel linebacker in this particular defensive scheme for New England.
And one might argue that maybe the Patriots want to give some of their top-end guys on defense a little rest. I don't think they're counting this one as a win against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they have great respect for Jacksonville, but we told you Aqib Talib is battling that hip injury, and so wanting to give guys a rest, I think it might be appropriate.
6 defensive backs, 3rd down and 7. Here comes Ninkovich. There goes the ball over the head of Shorts. Well, Henne has really struggled with accuracy here since the first quarter when they racked up over 200 yards. They have got a punt, 5 and punt.
No, they struggle on 3rd down. They have all season long. This offense is ranked 31st in 3rd down offense. They convert roughly about 29% of their 3rd down opportunities. They're struggling again here today where they've only converted 2 of 7.
On a day which is basically winless here in Jacksonville, Brian Anger, the rookie, will punt this to wide receiver and punt returner Wes Welker back inside the 20-yard line. And signaling for and allotted a fair catch at about the 8-9 yard line. 60-yard punt and inside the 20 at that. That's where Tom Brady will begin with his offense when we come back to Jacksonville. Love blimps. Aerial coverage of today's game provided by DirecTV and their blimp high overhead. 1st down and 10. And Ridley brought down in the play by DeJuan Landry after a gain of 4. They'll put him at the 12-yard line for New England.
Now, if you're Jacksonville, you have to be able to keep Tom Brady from continuing his rhythm of completing passes in short order to Wes Welker, to the tight end, Tony Gonzalez, Woodhead out of the backfield. Do something to pressure him and disrupt the rhythm you see him having in the later part of the game.
Into the nickel, 2nd and 6 for Tom Brady. Blocked by Solder to the hands of Hernandez. The coverage on the play by Harris. 3rd and 6.
Tom Brady has gotten a hot hand after the slow start. You can see his last 3 possessions, Kevin. They've had drives of 10 plays or longer, and they've been able to score on all 3 of their last 3 possessions. Touchdown, couple of field goals, and start to allow him to get hot. All of those field goals will be touchdowns.
6 defensive backs, 3rd and 6. Woodhead at the side of Brady.
52, Roger, hold it.
Make it 5 in the secondary. Brady, nice defense on the play. No flag. They were going for Branch. And the coverage on the play by Cox. They've been going after him a long time. He has an interception today. 3 and out for New England.
It's great coverage all over the field. This is what we call a coverage sack. See, everyone, no one is getting open. There's no separation of someone wearing a white jersey from those wearing the black. And Tom Brady was aware of the pressure folding in on him, but he didn't want to throw the ball in harm's way, and they're forced to punt it.
Jordan Shipley will retrieve this punt from Mesco. Shipley was signed back in mid-November. And this team, which, as we mentioned before, has made 88 roster moves this year, amongst the most in the NFL. Shipley. Slater slows him down. and then Marquise Cole brings them down. Gain of 2, 51-yard punt, and a good one. Back in the hands of Jacksonville and quarterback Chad Henne. Wide gap between these two teams record-wise coming into today. New England has scored now 62 touchdowns to Jacksonville's 23 touchdowns on this season, but 3 points separating the two teams today. Murphy on 1st and 10, got by Ninkovich, chased by Mayo, and run out of bounds. Across the way, finds room to the 45 on a pickup of 6. For complete pro football coverage, including everything you need to know from this weekend's matchups all the way through Super Bowl 47. Visit CBSSports.com/NFL. CBS will have that broadcast on TV of the game from New Orleans. 2nd down and 4. Fullback here is Greg Jones. Great time. Oh, except when Dederick came in, and there goes Henne, who's got the 1st down, and then he trips over his own feet at the 48. Probably was so surprised it was there, and then they think the ball may be down, but it was blown dead at the 48 on a scramble of 7 and a 1st down for Jacksonville.
And Henne's got to be able to do something for this offense, got to be able to manufacture some plays. They've struggled since the 1st quarter when he put up 202 yards of total offense and only about 70 yards since then. So they have continued to struggle, but he makes some plays with his legs, creating a new set of downs.
They're in the nickel. 1st and 10.
Miami limo! Miami limo!
Timeout. First used by Jacksonville in this half. 3-point game midway through the 3rd on CBS. That water taxi comes in pretty handy if you're going back and forth. There was a timeout taken by Jacksonville. They have a 1st and 10. We just had a 7-yard run by the quarterback Henne moments ago. No place to run, no place to hide. Owens thrown for a loss of about 2. Arrington makes the stop. They drive him back to midfield.
Nice play by Arrington. And I think if this Patriots defense, we talked about them giving up so many big plays in the passing game. If they want to improve at least today, they've got to do a better job of getting pressure on Chad Henne. Remember, the Jaguars come into today's game haven't allowed a sack in 42 consecutive games and 26 pass attempts today by Henne. He hasn't been sacked at all.
As we've mentioned, Tracy White playing in this nickel in the linebacking cores. 2nd down and 12. Ripper with the block at the right tackle. That may have been picked off. And it was at the 40-yard line. Grabbing the ball is Marquise Cole. 1st of the year. Henne is swiped with the pass to the side at the 40 of New England.
Oh, just a great read by Cole. He starts outside, then nice back in underneath Justin Blackmon to pick this one off. It's just a great cover 2 read. See him right there? It's just a great cover 2 read because he's also responsible for the offensive player close to the line of scrimmage. He comes off that coverage to wheel back in underneath where Henne was not expecting him to come up with the interception. Their 26th straight game with taking the football away. It's the longest active streak in the NFL. Patriots making plays now.
Newly signed Kamar Aiken will be at the bottom of your screen here. Signed late last night. Oh, here's a big hit. Mincy drills Brady, but it was helmet to helmet. There was a flag thrown. Mincy's going to be charged right there. He got Tom right in the noggin with his helmet. That's the 1st sack of the game.
Well, I'm telling you, watch this now. Brady ducks. He lowered the target line.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer.
No.
Hitting the head and neck area of the quarterback.
You watch Mincy come in and watch.
Automatic 1st down.
Watch Tom Brady duck. Mincy has no way. He's not designed to trying to hit him in the head. But see, Brady ducks right into it. And you can't blame the defender for making that kind of play. What is he supposed to do? Mincy's trying to make a play for his football team. Brady is trying to protect himself. But there was no intent to hit Brady in the head with his helmet on that play. I think it was a bang-bang play that they've got to realize that it cannot be legislated.
Shane Vereen is in the backfield for the first time today. Gives a block, but no, they get by him. Allen comes in, and they steamroll him right there at that sack. C.J. Mosley. And they push him back to the 43 and a loss of 7.
Mel Tucker's group, they're joining the party. Look at this. 3 guys into the backfield to get the sack on Tom Brady. And the coverage on the back end, Kevin, forces Brady to hold on to the football. No receiver was open on the play. Oh, yeah, these Jaguars, they still got some fight left in them.
Into the nickel, 2nd and 17. They need the 39 of Jacksonville. Brady underneath. Cox with the stop about the 49. The catch was made by Brandon Lloyd. That's a 7-yard reception for Lloyd.
With all that said, Tom Brady still in a favorable situation, 3rd and 10. Just about on this play, and you know he's going to hang in there. He's going to keep swinging. He can regain the momentum if he can convert this 3rd down play.
Woodhead at his side. 3rd and 10. They need the 39. Solder a good block at the left tackle. That may have been deflected. It was. It's incomplete. It's 4th down. Brady again scrapes himself off the turf. He was hit on the play by Darrell Smith. They got to pump the ball.
And Smith was going to blitz right here, but look at Woodhead. He knocks him off his feet, but he gets back up and put pressure in the face of Tom Brady. It forced the errant throw that still connected with Wes Welker at the 2nd level, but it was just a little bit high over the head of Wes Welker.
Zoltan Mesko will point, will put the ball, and deep back will be Shipley. Fair caught, 9-yard line. Slater right there. 40-yard punt, well placed. Henne will be stranded at his 10 when we come back, trailing by 3. We're back now after the punt by New England. New right guard Steve Vallos. He's had a couple of stints in this game already. It's down in 10. 4 in the secondary for the Pats. And this is Owens running outside by Scott and banged out of bounds by Tavon Wilson. There was a gain of a yard. And around the NFL, a very busy day.
Very interesting. And if Cincinnati can hold on to their lead over the Pittsburgh Steelers, that would clinch both playoff spots and the wild card for both themselves and the Indianapolis Colts, who are deadlocked at 13 apiece in the 3rd quarter with Kansas City.
Cordy and Arrington at the corners. Wilson and Gregory in the secondary. Wilson taking the place at least for this series for Chung, 2nd and 9. He's tried to block as long as he could. It goes out to the fullback, Fred Jones. Ninkovich is right there, making the stop. Also with the hit on that play, Dante Hightower, who had about 4 tackles right off the bat. Gain of 6 on the play to the 16.
You know, so much is expected for this New England Patriots defense, for them to improve. We talked to Vince Wilfork about it last night. He felt that with young players like a Brandon Spikes, a Dante Hightower, and Gerard Mayo, and Chandler Jones, the talented defensive end from Syracuse, you expect this defense to start to take shape and form. They still have to get better, I think, on the back end in their secondary to get back to championship phase.
2 rookies, Francis and Jones, on that defensive line right now for New England. 3rd and 3 for Chad Henne. Again, good time, and batted down at the line. Somebody got that. Was it Dederick maybe who got their big paw in front? Perhaps, but somebody did. They knock it away, and they got a punt to the Jaguars.
Yeah. Let's take a look. There's Dederick right there. He's coming, working into the face of Chad Henne. Yeah, that's who it's going to be. Good call, Kevin. And their ability to get off the field now here in the 2nd half, I think, has been really good. It's just almost a mirror image of what we saw in the 2nd half last week against the 49ers. They played much better in the 2nd half defensively.
Welker got it from Anger. And the slippery Welker to the 41-yard line. Finally brought down by Russell Allen on a 16-yard return, a 58-yard punt by Brian Anger. Coming up, college basketball on CBS. Next Saturday, 2 of college basketball greats and terrific rivals meet again. Number 23, Kentucky. Number 4, Louisville. It all begins when CBS Sports presents 75 years of March Madness behind the mic, followed by a coach's perspective. All next week on CBS. Here come the Pats. 3-point lead, 3rd quarter, 1st and 10. And that is Ridley. Brings it up. Mincy was there. Knighton, big old number 96, Terrence Knighton, brings him down. Gain of 4 to the 45.
Patriots trying to run the ball, but they don't make any excuses. This is about Tom Brady. It's about his offense. He's going to do what he has to do to maintain balance.
2nd down and 6. Welker On the reverse, a block there by Branch, and a tackle is made on the play by Jason Babin. Got him around the ankles, a gain of 9, and a first down run to the 46 of Jacksonville.
Yeah, Wes Welker comes all the way around. Watch how he throws his little body in there. See how small the hole gets? He still challenges the defense to try to get everything he can out of this run. This is another run play. Goes and counts as a run play. Wes Welker can run it, can catch it, do just about everything in this offense.
4-3-4 defense for Jacksonville, 1st and 10.
Hey, alert! Float! 50 the mic! Over! Out!
Ridley, good block by Solder, but the pursuit of the Jacksonville defense is there. Russell Allen with the hit. Cox was right there, and a 4 on the play.
This Jaguar defense is a tough nut to crack, I think, for the Patriots. They're having to earn everything they get against Mike Mularkey's defense right now.
Well, emotionally, he had to just figure out where New England was after the big 2 games they've played against huge teams in the Texans and Niners.
Yeah, and they're still playing for everything.
2nd and 6. Rendell with the block that offers that pass up to Welker. Brzezinski knocks him down all the way to the Jacksonville 17. A beautiful catch for 25 and a first down.
All right, Tom Brady will even tell you, Wes Welker saves his bacon on this one. Yeah, it's a good throw. But normally Brady puts that where Welker can not only catch it, but there's a catch and run opportunity as well. And that's called getting as much as they can out of every single play.
Welker's first catch of the half from the 17, 1st and 10.
Alabama! Wait, 20!
2 tight ends. Ridley. And looks like Bosworth is the one to get him, and I think he grabbed his shoe in the process, so Ridley loses his boot. It's a tackle by Bosworth and a gain of 6.
Oh, this is a great run by Ridley. Watch. He makes one unblocked defender miss. Here's another one. Makes a second unblocked defender miss, and still has a positive gain on the play. Incredible.
Bolden is in. Outside, this is going to be a catch made by Lloyd, but maybe a run. Was it thrown back at the line? It was. It was actually and officially going to be regarded as a run. He gets to the 2. He picks up 9, 1st and goal.
Well, watch Brandon Lloyd. He's nifty, making an unblocked defender miss, fighting off Derek Cox, right grabbing the face mask.
And Bolden, head over heels. He takes it on 1st and goal, and he gets to the 1 and picks up a yard on the play.
See, when you have a committee of running backs, they're all competitive. They want the ball. Bolden comes in as Ridley goes out. He knows he only going to get maybe one opportunity to score here. He's going to throw his body around. Just love the way that Bill Belichick uses the talent at his disposal. Real competitive group.
They're going to have 3 tight ends when we come back. They're going to have it 2nd and goal when we come back. Here they go. A little flip right there at the end of 3. We go to the 4th. Starting the 4th quarter, the Patriots have it 2nd goal and 1. Big play on the drive, a 25-yard pass, a terrific reception made by Welker. 2 tight ends. And they give it up the middle to Bolden, who was in the eye as we quickly got back with Ridley. It's a loss of a yard on the play. They drive him back to the 2. They hit by Babin, number 58.
Now watch all the white jerseys get knocked back into the backfield. It was the get-off by the guys in the black jerseys. Look, Taron Knighton knifing through, and then Babin on the cleanup as Bolden tried to squirt free even though he wasn't down. He just ran into a brick wall called the Jacksonville Jaguars defensive line.
Amanalui and Hernandez both in there. 3rd and goal at the 2. Outside, Welker, touchdown.
They're going to call him for a pick. They're going to try to get Brandon Lloyd saying that he screened for Welker to get outside.
And that is illegal if indeed that's the call.
Prior to pass, holding, 21 defense. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a touchdown.
Derek Cox. Welker with the 2-yard touchdown reception. Brady, his 2nd touchdown pass today.
Yeah, Cox gets sort of jammed up as they have a close pick. See, he couldn't get outside. Look at that. They were able to get the touchdown and beat Mike Harris to the corner.
Welker with his 5th touchdown reception. Brady with his 32nd touchdown pass of the year. Gostkowski. And the lead is 10 for the New England Patriots. 45 seconds into the fourth here in Jacksonville. Patriots currently the third seed in the AFC. They've won 7 of 8. The record is 10-4. Brady has had 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions today for New England.
How about this? The Patriots have scored 20 unanswered points to take the lead in this ball game. And Jacksonville Jaguars offense, they've hit a stalemate. Only 3 first downs in their last 6 possessions.
3 field goals by Gostkowski, who's got the ball teed up at the 35-yard line right now for New England, and the ensuing kickoff after the 2-yard touchdown pass to Welker. Murphy. Slowed up nicely in the play by White. 16-yard return. Let's take you to our CBS studios in New York and James.
Washington staring at the postseason.
Yes, JB RG3, Rookie of the Year candidate, 22 yards. Santana Moss with the toe touch. Corner of the end zone. 27-13. Redskins get some breathing room over the Eagles.
And a nice toe touch it was. Back to Kevin Harlan and Solomon Wilcots.
Look at the NFC East. Battle right there. Dallas today is taking game with New Orleans. Giants in Baltimore. First down and 10. Fake to Owens. Pocket is down, and here goes the quarterback, Henne. First down run. Scrambling his way out to about the 35, 15-yard pickup and a first down for Jacksonville.
Henne still hasn't been sacked today, and here's one of the reasons why. He's elusive in the pocket. He's got his head up. He knows this Patriots defense as well as any opposing quarterback, and he's very confident when playing the Patriots.
In the backfield, secondary for New England with 5. First down and 10 for Jacksonville at the 35. Murphy hit once. Really, Ninkovich is the one who made that happen because he slowed him up. No gain on the play. Dederick fell on him at the 35. It'll be second down and 10 coming up in the Subway postgame show. Join JB, Dan, Shannon Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowers. Scores, news, and highlights all over the NFL. That's all coming up on the Subway postgame show from our CBS studios in New York. It is second down and 9.
Go!
Ninkovich on the line, Wilfork on the line, Dederick and Jones. Chandler Jones. He probably was going to be Rookie of the Year defensively, but some injuries slowed him down. Shipley is the one who makes the grab. White is the guy that makes the tackle on a gain of 4. Everyone's talking about Chandler Jones to begin the season, and he was great, but then he had some subsequent injuries, and he missed some games, and that kind of slowed down that bandwagon.
But he still, I think, is a phenomenal use of a first-round pick. I think he's a great player. I think he's going to mold, I think, he and some of the other young defenders on this defense, I think they're going to mold into some phenomenal football players. You can see 6 sacks. There's no doubt he's got double-digit type sacks in his career on any given season.
Had some ankle issues. 5 in the secondary, 3rd and 5, Henne. Oh, he's got the receiver, Blackman, right in front of Marquise Cole. The catch, the first down reception to the 42, a pickup of 18.
Oh, this is the throw. These are the times when you think Henne can get real hot. Look at this nice throw. That's a coverage beater right there. You throw that pass from one hash clear to the sideline, you know you've got the arm strength, velocity, and anticipation to carve up a defense.
First and 10, Murphy. And trying to find some running room out there. They're using a whole bunch. Like Mayo and a couple others got their hands on him. Gain of 4. Solomon down to about the 38.
One thing about the defenders in the Patriots secondary, you talk about some of the coverage problems they may have. They give up a lot of big plays, but every single one of them will tackle. Every single one of them will lay a lick on you if you don't protect the football.
Then Chung on the sideline here. Chung started today. Second down and 6. We got Wilson taking his place. Good block by Monroe, the left tackle. There is a catch made by Shorts. He's then grabbed by Cole. The gain to the 34. It's a 4-yard pickup.
Ninkovich, the defensive end, he had dropped in coverage on that play, and Henne was just reading his drop. He was a little confused that time in space, and they were able to get the completion. Now on 3rd and 2, we talked about the Jaguars offense struggling a little bit on 3rd down. They've got to be able to convert this one. 3 of 10 so far in the game. Rob Ninkovich is a promising young player. Malarkey knows this is a vitally important possession on this 3rd down play.
3rd down 2, the fake pitch. Shovel pass. Owens read well that time. And on that receiver was White. Tracy White. Man was in the vicinity. It's a gain of 2. And they are going to get the first.
Yep, they're going to get it. There's the pitch. Considered a forward pass. He's able to go ahead and get a new set of downs for Mike Malarkey. He's elated. They're able to convert one.
Owens in the backfield. Here's a 1st and 10. Ripper with the block at the right tackle. And he was submarined on the play by McCourty. A very smart player is this McCourty. He's down to the 25, and he picks up 6 on the play.
Yeah, we talked to Bill Belichick about Devin McCourty and his move to that position, and Belichick talked about it. He said the first time he had done it was when he was the defensive coordinator with the Giants. He brought Everson Walls over from the Cowboys, moved him from corner to safety. And Walls had great ball skills, great instincts, a lot of the same traits you see with Devin McCourty.
Murphy on 2nd down and 4. In the teeth of that defense, see the ensuing pile up. Not a whole lot there. Gain of 1. We also talked to Vince Wilfork last night here in Jacksonville, and he is a terrific leader and the guy that anchors a very strong front 7 for the Pats.
He's one of my favorite players to watch play in the NFL. He destroys defensive lines, I should say offensive lines, and wreck their run game. He did it to Arian Foster and the Houston Texans in the Monday night game. He did it last week when he really got going in the second half against the 49ers.
3rd and 3, quick count, incomplete. Hightower was there watching Murphy.
He's looking for a flag, but there will be none.
Well timed by Hightower.
Just good coverage, absolutely. Good timing by Dante Hightower in pass coverage.
Hightower had a good game against San Francisco as well today. Back and forth, he's gone from that sideline, and the Jaguars will try for a field goal here. Here's Scobie once again, a 42-yarder. You can see his afternoon. You mentioned before 20 unanswered by New England. Let's see if Jacksonville can stop that with just under 9 to play, and that is good. 42-yard field goal. Kenny ran one for 15. Blackman had a reception for 18. They get a 42-yard field goal from Scobie. You see the Jaguar practice fields there on the top left. Gator Bowl, when they got the franchise here, they took it down to the studs, rebuilt it. And they've got every seat filled here for the most part today. Their biggest crowd since 2005, did Bob Kraft tell us today? It was a huge turnout.
Patriots will do that.
Yes,
they
will.
Can move the needle, right?
Yeah, they move a lot of stuff. Slater will leave it in the end zone. To the 20-yard line for Tom Brady and his offense tomorrow. It's Christmas Eve, and 2 broke girls are unwrapping their special brand of holiday cheer. Celebrate the holiday with 2 broke girls tomorrow, only on CBS. Brady today, 2 touchdown passes. 47th consecutive game he's done it. He's tied John Unitas. The numbers on both former Wolverine quarterbacks right there. Ridley and Montel Owens. 1st down and 10. Bolden is in motion out of the backfield for Brady. Out on the money, nice catch right there. It's made by Lloyd. He was hit by Cox. The gain on the they're going to rule it incomplete. Right? Did he just wave it off? I think he did. Incomplete. 2nd down and 10. They stay back at the 20-yard line. Lloyd thought it. Look, he's surprised as anybody. He thought, I had that ball.
Brady thought it was a catch as well.
We all did.
See, okay, it gets into his body. Okay, when he hits the ground, the ball comes loose a little bit. But it was jarred loose on a hit. See, that's a catch and run. That's a football move. That's a football move.
That was a reception.
He caught it, made a football move with it.
Read it!
2nd and 10. Palmer, a nice block at the right tackle. Posluszny will make the stop on Welker. It was right up the middle. It's about the 24, and it's a gain of 4.
Yeah, but it's going to be 3rd and medium for Tom Brady and company. They want to keep possession, want to stay on the field, got to convert the 3rd and 6. You know, when they go outside on that 1st and 10, you expect Brandon Lloyd to make the catch. He was expecting a 2nd and short type of play, keep the offense on schedule. And now they're faced with a 3rd and 6. Look for them to work over the middle of the football field.
Louis, hurry! Simply read it! Read it, Dan!
Against 5 defensive backs. Low, uncatchable for Hernandez. Coverage on the play by linebacker Russell Wilson. Brady can't do it on a day where he has thrown 39 times and completed 22.
Now Mel Tucker, his defense, watch how they close off the middle of the field. They force everything to the outside on the numbers. See, they jam up double coverage on Wes Welker, and Brady has no choice but to go outside to Hernandez for the incompletion.
This is the #1 offense in the NFL coming into today. Zoltan Mesko. Jordan Shipley. The block from Rutland. And then the long snapper, Danny Aiken, 48. Got him around the ankles and brings him down. Up to the 34, he takes it. 15-yard return. Here comes Henny, down 23-16. Patriots just punted from the 34-yard line. Jacksonville, 1st and 10.
Yeah, and Henny has to put together a drive here to tie the ball game. He's got 7 minutes to work against this Patriots defense, and we already told you, it's given up a lot of big plays.
Chung and Gregory are the 2 safeties, 1st and 10. Henny out on the screws. Blackman is there. Arrington with the stop along with Chung. The gain is to the 44. It's a gain of 9 on the play. Good throw by Henny. Wednesday in primetime, JB, Chris Collinsworth, Phil Simms showcase America's favorite game with their own unique style. Inside the NFL, Wednesday on Showtime. We're going to give him a first down on that last 2nd down and 1. Well, what do you punt for a first down for? The stat man's going nuts. Here's a pass. That's a first down reception. Blackman on his pogo stick and taking it down to the 40-yard line of the New England Patriots. A 17-yard pickup and a first down.
Well, there was no sense of urgency to get over there to Justin Blackman. Look, he catches this ball. Now, where are the Patriots? Look, he's hopping on one leg, trying to stay inbounds. No one ever hits him or tackles him. Patrick Chung arrives to push him out of bounds.
5 defensive backs. 1st and 10 for Henny. Another receiver. That's a beautiful catch right there and a pickup of 5. It's to Shipley. McCourty was over in the vicinity. And the gain to the 35 of New England.
And you notice you had 3 consecutive throws by Henny, all in the short outside part of the field, right in the flat. It's the dead area in this zone that you're getting right now from the Patriots defense. Henny's done a really good job locking in when they're playing man, and when they're playing zone, and where are the open areas, he's finding them.
Francis on the line. Dedrick is on the line, as is Will Ford. Scott is standing up. And now so too is Justin Francis, 2nd and 5. To catch Shorts. Breaks the McCourty tackle. Takes it inside the 20. Drilled on the play by Gregory. The catch and run of 17 to the 17 of New England, first down.
This is one thing Bill Belichick said they had to do a better job of doing, is tackling the receiver, not allowing the yards after the catch, particularly with Cecil Shorts. Devin McCourty drives on it, can't wrap up, reminiscent of what we saw on the catch and run play by Michael Crabtree against Arrington and late in the ball game last week.
Dedrick is chasing Henny. Henny throws it off to Owens, who's inside the 10. Hit by Chung, hit by McCourty. They'll spot the ball at the 8 and about a yard shy of a first down.
Well, this offense is looking as good as we've seen them look all season long for Jacksonville, even down inside the red zone, where they struggled to score points. They were 0 for 4 last week inside the red zone against the Miami Dolphins. Today they've been much better. Now looking at 2nd and 1. Let's see if they take a shot in the end zone to someone like Justin Blackman.
2nd down and 1. Murphy. Stand back, had a block. It's a gain of 2. Carves his way to the 6. That's good for a first down. 1st and goal to go. Jacksonville trailing 23-16.
Oh, that was a trap play, and I don't think it was well conceived. The timing of it was really poor. That's some of the things I'm sure Mike Mularkey wants to improve upon with a good, strong offseason program here in Jacksonville. I think by formation and by personnel grouping, you could tell they wanted to run the football there. Now Blackman is back into the ball game.
Hightower remains in for in the secondary. 1st and goal at the 6. Fake to Murphy. Good time. Blackman to the 1. Drilled by Arrington. Gain of 5. 2nd and goal.
Oh, Arrington had to come a long way on this one. Blackman comes clear across the other field, other side. And then he catches this one, but because of the great pursuit angle by Arrington, look, Blackman's not going to be able to catch it and turn across the goal line. Great play by Arrington. Nice hustle.
Shorts has come out. He looks like he is injured. Whymper is now going to become a tight end eligible. Bradfield becomes the right tackle. 2nd goal at the 1. Greg Jones digging, climbing, close but not in. Good stop in there by the Pats. Looked like Will Fork and Mayo were 2 of the guys that initiated the tackle.
Mayo's a little dazed, a little dinged.
They all are.
He was the one that came in and just rattled Greg Jones. But Jones is a stout ball player who's able to spin off the potential tackle from Mayo. Look at Mayo's woozy right now. He's going to stay in there, but I don't know if he can make that tackle 2 plays in a row.
Whymper tackle eligible near side. 3rd and goal at the 1. Potter, little used tight end.
False start. Number 88, the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Part of the reason why you're 2 and 12.
Well, I will say this as you take a look at him jump on this play. I think if you're 2 and 12, I do got to believe this is 4-down territory. If you're Mike Mularkey, you got a chance to tie the ball game in the 4th quarter, 4 minutes to go, then you got to come away with a touchdown here.
3rd and goal now at the 6. So the ball is just barely shy of the 5. Henny. Hit by Hightower. Down he goes. The first sack. Back at the 11. Big play by Dante Hightower.
Yep. And now I think anytime you have 2 negative plays, as you've seen, they had the offsides. Now you get sacked. Robs you of momentum. I still believe now on 4th down, if you're Mike Mularkey, you've got to go for it. Give yourself an opportunity. Get your receivers out there. Spread them out. And try to make a play on offense for a touchdown here on 4th down.
4th and goal at the 10. Timeout. Timeout, Jacksonville. Oh, the rookie from Alabama, Hightower, with a big play. And coming up, we got a big one, too. After the timeout was taken, Mike Mularkey said, we didn't take a timeout. And then the officials conferred, and they agreed that they had pointed the wrong way. New England took the timeout, so as you see, 2 apiece. In the timeout category, here we go, 4th and goal at the 10. What do you see here?
He's got to have his best players on the field. He does on this play, but he didn't on the previous 2 plays. The skilled players for Jacksonville have to make it happen in this situation.
4th and goal. He's hit on the play. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Chung. The big-time hit from Jones. Still on his feet, working his way, navigating through the defenders. Look at him, still on his feet, and finally brought down by Whymper to the 28. Flag is thrown. Jones with the big-time hit. The rookie coming up huge on a big play in this one.
I told you not to give up on Chandler Jones. He's still got a bright future. Yeah, he's shaking off some injuries, but he is so special as a player. He's got great length, good use of his hands. He turns the corner to get the sack, the hit, I should say, on Henny, forcing the interception.
Great play. The Patriots have 7 red zone takeaways now, number 1 in the NFL.
Incredible. Pressure leads to picks.
After the play is over, unnecessary roughness. Number 75 of the return team. This is
Monroe.
the goal. First down, New England.
Chung had the pick.
Bill Belichick loves it, and there it is right here. Watch Chandler Jones working against the left tackle, Monroe. See him? See the use of his hands? He gets extension, then separation. Then force the interception. That ball's tipped, or it should just wobbles out of the hand of Henny as he was hit by Chandler Jones and picked off by Patrick Chung. We always say pressure leads to picks. I think that's a perfect illustration of it.
Ridley in the backfield, 1st and 10 from the 14 for Brady. Paul Henry is going to lead the way as they come to the near side. Oh, and a player's holding his leg, and he is down at the 15. Ridley gaining a yard, and Posluszny. I don't know if it's a cramp or if he was bent an awkward way, but there he goes. Not a good sign.
Yeah, he's holding that right knee.
He knew it immediately, too. He cradled up in Jacksonville.
Well, he's trying to put some weight on it there. He's able to put a little bit on it.
Jacksonville, let's see what he's doing. Maybe it is a cramp. Coming up in the Subway postgame show, join JB Dan, Shannon Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowher for the latest NFL scores, news, and highlights. All coming up from New York on the Subway postgame show right here on CBS. So the Patriots have it, 2 timeouts. Jacksonville just burned a second timeout, 2nd down and 9 from the 15.
Oh, the Patriots have the 8th best rushing attack in the National Football League. Came into today's game with 23 rushing touchdowns. That's number 1 in the NFL. With 3 minutes on the clock, you're up by a touchdown. You want to be able to run the football to run time off the clock here.
Bosworth has taken the place of Posluszny. They are giving Jacksonville their timeout back because of the injury. It's 2nd down and 9. They get by Fulmer. Wobbly pass is caught by Welker. Krasinski is right there with the stop. Bosworth was there as too, Kyle Bosworth. It is a gain of 6 to the 20-yard line.
It is a big deal if the Jacksonville Jaguars get the timeout back. Use your timeouts to preserve some time. You still have the 2-minute warning. That's also like a timeout. So to be able to get that back, I think it's big time if you can get the stop right here on 3rd down.
Welker looks like he has come up with another big catch. It's the 18th career game with 10 or more receptions, passing Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice has felt a double whammy because last night Calvin Johnson of the Detroit Lions got by him as well on a pretty significant record.
With another game left, Calvin Johnson passes Jerry Rice all-time receiving yards mark for a single season. He had over 200 yards receiving last night against the Atlanta Falcons. I think it's amazing when you consider everybody knows you're throwing the ball to Calvin Johnson. He can still put up those huge numbers.
Woodhead is in. Base defense for Jacksonville. 3rd and a long 3. Brady. Nice move right there. And look at the run by, Manau Wanui, who takes it up, who makes the 15-yard catch and run. 1st down, Patriots to New York.
Shannon, no quit in the Saints all season.
No way, JB, even though they have really nothing to play for. Drew Brees, 30 of 45, 375. This 60-yard pickup to Marcus Colston, 31-17, New Orleans Saints with no regard for the Cowboys.
That's what I needed. That set up a 3-yard TD for the Saints. That's the toss back to Kevin Harlan I needed. Back to Kevin and Solomon.
I got you. Good running after a catch by Manau Wanui. Here's the run up the middle on 1st down by Ridley. And he finds a couple of yards brought down by George Selvey. It's a gain of 2. We are at the 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning, 2nd down and 8 coming up for the New England Patriots, who have a couple of timeouts and a 23-16 lead. Brady's been picked off a couple times today, also thrown 2 touchdown passes. Gostkowski has kicked 3 field goals. Ridley in the backfield, 2nd down and 8. Go inside, Allen jumping on him, along with Alu and George Selvey is coming back from a concussion. Gain of a yard. They'll put him at the 36.
Kyle Bosworth does a really good job of what we call setting the edge defensively to turn that run by Ridley back inside for his help.
Patriots right now number 3 in the AFC. They need Denver to lose one of the 2 remaining games they've got against Cleveland and Kansas City. And then the Patriots may have a chance to get number 2 in that 1st round bye. Right now they have no bye in the 1st round where they sit.
Well, if you're the Patriots, you're also hoping for a Houston loss today. Because if Houston loses, they're playing the Minnesota Vikings, and then they should lose the final week to Indianapolis, and New England wins out. They get the #1 seed in the playoffs. And in the 5 trips to the Super Bowl as head coach of the Patriots, Belichick has gone in those years when he's been either a #1 or #2 seed.
Well, Football Outsiders says this is the #1 most efficient offense in the NFL. They score the most points. Today they've scored 23, 3rd and 7. Jacksonville's out of timeouts. Drills Brady, back he goes, sacked to about the 27, 3rd sack today, a former #1 pick in 2010.
Oh, Brady's going to take a lick. He feels this one, Kevin. Watch this. Ran right through and plants him on that shoulder as well. Brady laid there, sort of curled up in a painful position. Alou came right through and got himself a sack. Big play for the Jaguars defense.
Play clock is at 13. Mesko to punt. Shipley back inside the 25. They'll wait here and let this baby roll down. Got a block from Rutland. He finds a gap. Ninkovich was there. Oh, there was a fumble on the play. He may have been down. Rivera came in there too. He's had the bad ankle. Didn't practice much this week. 59 Rivera. Down he goes. He got the ball back. 46-yard punt, 13-yard return. No timeouts. Here comes Henne. Ball will be at the 38.
And now Chad Henne, here's the thing. Remember that last possession? He began that possession by throwing the ball outside to his receivers. If you're the Patriots, you've got to know that. Jacksonville has no timeouts. They've got to complete passes close to the sideline where they can step out of bounds to stop the clock. You got to be able to jump some of those routes and make a play.
1st down and 10. Henne, good throw, shot. Shorts dropped it, and they get led with the helmet, and down he is. Chung got him. Boy, look at the 3 of them. 5 flags thrown. I've never seen a play with 5 flags.
They were still coming. Seconds after the play was over. Everyone dumping their flags. And Chung, went to the head of Cecil Shorts. And I think Shorts had been battling concussion problems that sat out the Jets game
earlier this season.
Absolutely.
You're exactly right. He had concussion issues.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, hit on the offensive receiver, #25 in the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Now the officials do get this one right, Kevin. Watch Chung. Right to the head with his helmet. He literally ducked his head as he collided with Cecil Shorts. Oh, wow. Yeah, see, we've got, those are the ones that you want to legislate out of the game. Helmet-to-helmet hits on defenseless player. Shorts can't protect himself there while Devin McCourty's trying to rake the ball out. And Chung just unloads to the head of Cecil Shorts.
Because Shorts was injured on a foul, there is no 10-second runoff here. And the concussion, we're going to go back in time several weeks ago for Cecil Shorts. Week 13 at Buffalo.
Yeah, you can see it. Catch right there. There's the hit to the head. And he missed next week's game against the New York Jets. Set out that game. And now to have another blow to the head here, he looks really wobbly. Concussion protocols say they have to take him off the field. They're going to do a thorough look. This young man has put in a lot of work. He's threatening to become their first 1,000-yard wide receiver since Jimmy Smith in 2005. They've gone 6 straight seasons without having a wide receiver who has produced as well as Cecil Shorts.
So they'll replace him with Tony Clemens, who was signed just after Thanksgiving. He spent 12 weeks this year, number 17 Clemens did, on the Pittsburgh practice squad after being a 7th-round pick by the Steelers. So he'll take his place. Also out there, Mike Brown. It's 1st down and 10, no timeouts, Jacksonville. Henne. Too high, uncatchable for Shipley. Coverage by Marquise Cole. 2nd down.
Cole did a really good job undercutting the route, forcing Henne to throw it high and out of bounds. Remember, you've got to always defend the middle of the field because that's easy throws. But whenever quarterbacks are playing with no timeouts, they want to throw the ball outside of the numbers so they can get the catch and step out of bounds to stop the clock.
Derek Martin is the 6th defensive back. 2nd and 10. That is dropped by Shipley. Chung was there. Cole was there. It's incomplete. There is no yellow. It will be 3rd and 10 for Jacksonville.
Watch Chung knifing in to make the play here. He's the guy that pries the ball loose. See there? Look at that. See how he just gets that hand in? He was more protective on that play by Shipley. Instead of just unloading and trying to blast him, he played ball with his hands, able to get the ball out.
Still the dime secondary. 3rd and 10. Henne hit as he throws, wobbles away. Great pressure put on again by rookie Chandler Jones. Coming up the middle and playing a big-time game, especially in the 4th quarter for the Pats.
Every secondary defender loves a player like Chandler Jones, a guy who can get to the quarterback. Look, he fights off 2 offensive linemen, and the motor he shows, the relentless pursuit of the quarterback, is why he's able to make a play.
Well, they need the 37. It is 4th and 10 for Jacksonville.
Now you got to play the sticks if you're the Patriots defense.
7 DBs. Henne, and it was caught. Tony Clemens, did he scoop it in? Indeed he did. McCourty is there. 17-yard pickup. Clock continues to tick. No timeouts, Jacksonville. The guy taking the place of Shorts, Clemens, comes up with a huge catch. The spike was there, but was there a timeout taken before?
Over to the right side. McCourty thought he was going deep, but then when he broke this route off, McCourty couldn't stay with him. Clemens dives to make a catch on that ball before it hit the turf. This is an excellent grab by Clemens.
They're going to review it upstairs, and it is a catch.
It is a catch. See there, he's caught it. And now he's down by contact. Then the ball comes out. So I think it's going to be ruled a catch, even after taking a look at it.
Again, this is the guy taking the place of their top receiver, Cecil Shorts. Now, when he was down and the ball was kicked away, let's see now what they rule. Jeff Triplett will be under the
Yeah, McCourty
hood.
touched him, though,
Yes.
while he was down.
True,
So once he's
exactly.
on the ground and the ball was secure, McCourty touched him, so now he's ruled down by contact, and then the ball came out.
Here's something interesting as well. The side judge blew the whistle. The spike will be wiped away.
Please
It will-
put 22 seconds back on the game clock.
It will be first
22.
down.
So give him more time.
They give him another down, yeah. If they rule it a catch, and from what we can see, it is a reception.
It is a reception, yeah. I think it'll be upheld. It was ruled a reception in the field of play. They got up to try to spike the ball, but of course it's going to be not necessarily challenged, but they're going to review it as well they should. And there you see the ball comes out. I thought Clemens not only caught the ball, but he maintained possession as he was rolling over. The ball didn't wobble or jostle in any way, shape, or form. What about Clemens coming on to make a play?
Yes.
A crucial 4th down play for his quarterback, Chad Henne.
There have been 4 drops by Jacksonville receivers today. Look at Mike Mularkey, coached a brief time as the head man up in Buffalo. Most recently, he's been the offensive coordinator with the Atlanta Falcons and helping the development of Matt Ryan. Now hired by the new owner in conjunction with the old owner, Weaver. But Shad Khan now is the new owner of this team, and they both went in on hiring Mike Mularkey as the head coach.
Yeah, a lot of people think that the general manager, Gene Smith, and Mike Mularkey are tied at the hip. Well, Gene Smith had been hired by the previous owner, Wayne Weaver. And then Shad Khan comes on board, and he participated in the hiring process of his new head coach, Mike Mularkey. And so while there's been some talk here in Jacksonville that they may change out the general manager, I'm not so sure that we're going to see Mike Mularkey leave. I think Shad Khan loves the job that he's getting with Mike Mularkey. I think he's working with young players like Cecil Shorts to turn him into a productive player. I think Chad Henne has a future here. The big question, will it be Blaine Gabbert? Will it be Chad Henne? We heard a lot of talk about Tim Tebow possibly joining his Jacksonville team.
Well, here is a pretty important ruling by Jeff Triplett.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The receiver had his hands under the ball with possession and completed a catch. The game clock is correct at 22 seconds. It will wind on my ready.
Then it should be first down.
I think you've got to take a shot at the end zone if you're Henne. Against this defense, against this secondary for the Patriots, you force them to make a play by threatening to score a touchdown, throw the ball into the end zone.
Gregory, there's a little spike right there to stop it. Now it is second down. Gregory and Chung are 20 yards off the line of scrimmage. Arrington is on one side, McCourty on the other. In the slot defending is Marquise Cole. Those are your defensive backs. And Martin is another one. Derek Martin has been in there this series.
Not so sure you had to waste it down there. You still had 25 seconds on the clock.
2nd and 10. Henne, he's got Shipley to the 12-yard line. No timeouts. You see the clock rolling. It's a gain of 18. It is a first down. They quickly assemble. Spikes the ball. 2nd and 10. Clock at 8 seconds, as you can see.
Now, I thought they should go down the middle of the field. We saw the 49ers attack this team down the seams. I think you've got to try to get a one-on-one matchup and try to get the ball to your best on-ball receiver. And in my mind, it's got to be either Blackman, who's a tall, rangy receiver, or how about the 6'6" Marcedes Lewis? If he's matched up against a linebacker or a smaller corner, number 89, here he is right here. He can catch up with the football up in the air. He can go get it.
2nd down and 10. Henne, high, incomplete. They were going for Tony Clemens. 5 seconds to play. 3rd and 10.
Well, he clearly was going to Clemens right away. Never even looked over to Marcedes Lewis.
McCourty was back there.
And you got to spread them out and try to get the best available matchup. Give yourself time to read the defense on the pre-snap read. Again, he has Lewis out to his left.
3rd down and 10. Henne pressured, jump ball, and Chung. 2nd interception, which seals it for the Patriots, who come out with the win in Jacksonville today, 23-16. For Solomon Wilcott's Kevin Harlan saying so long from Jacksonville. The 2nd red zone takeaway by the Patriots, a big one on a day where Brady threw 2 picks himself. Happy holidays, everyone. Let's take you to our CBS studios.